What's up everybody, Sam Smyers here. Today I want to show you a trick that you can use with Ableton Live's utility plugin to give you more control over manipulating the width of an individual track or even your master. I posted a short video going over this process and I noticed that a lot of people did not know that you could do this with the utility plugin. And also a lot of people were confused about what I was actually doing. I think there were a lot of people that thought that you could do something similar with like the Isotope Imager plugin or like the Waves Stereo Imager plugin. But what I'm going to show you, I haven't really seen very many people show that you could do this with the utility plugin. So I don't know if this is just something that I kind of like thought up, or maybe I saw it somewhere and then this kind of reminded me of it. But this is a way that you can have a bit more control over manipulating the mid and side of your audio signal. So let's go ahead and just kind of jump right into it. I have a couple pads loaded up that are stereo, and stereo meaning that they have information that is different in the left and right channel that makes them sound already a bit wide. Now I'm going to show you a process that you can start manipulating the mid and side of your audio signal. The side is going to be the information that is different between the left and right channel. So if you have a track, an audio signal that is mono, there will be no side information. The track has to already have some stereo information in the signal. It has to actually have like some stereo signal in it for you to be able to even manipulate the sides. So the mid is going to be everything that is similar, or everything that is the same between the left and right channel. That's just going to be like all the mono information. So if I have, if I just isolate all the sides and I'm listening to only the sides and I throw the track into mono, all that information is going to disappear. I'm not even going to be able to hear it. This whole like widening thing, this is really only for listening in stereo, but we are always mostly listening in stereo. So this is why people, like when they're using those stereo imaging plugins, you can use too much of it and then kind of mess up a lot of the phasing, and then you think that everything sounds wide with your track, but then you throw the whole your whole song into mono, and then everything sounds like not as big. So you have to kind of like be careful with doing this type of stuff, like the stereo imaging stuff, because it does help your track when you're listening in stereo, like kind of help things open up a bit. But in mono, it's not really gonna do too much. So anyway, just getting all that out of the way, hopefully I explained that mid and side stuff. Hopefully that was kind of like a good enough explanation. I'm sure I'll get people commenting that that didn't make any sense or I'm wrong. But anyway, I have a utility plugin loaded up, and if you are confused about anything, you can always click on this info bar and this opens up more details. This pad, let's just go ahead and check out this pad. I'm going to go ahead and loop this. Stereo sounding pad. This utility plugin, we have this width knob. Now this width knob is going to be similar to using like the Waves in the Isotope Imager. I think there's like a free plugin called, I think it's called Imager 2. And then there's also like a paid one. Let me just check that out. Let me load that up real quick. This Imager, and if you increase this width, then it gives you this heightened stereo field. And then if you decrease it, then it makes it more mono sounding. Like that. You don't really need this Imager plugin if you just want to do that, because on the utility plugin, that is what this width knob is doing. If I increase it above anything above 100%, then you are increasing that side information that is already present in the stereo field. And then the opposite is true when I take it all the way down to the left. It is taking away that side information. And now you only have that mid, or the mono signal. Now, if I increase this, I keep increasing it, you're still going to have the mid signal. You're just raising up that side signal. So you're still hearing the mid in the side, but you're just kind of like increasing up the sides. And you can see, like, as I hover over this width knob, it explains it in the info panel. Now, what I want to show you is, this is something that is available in Ableton Live 10, 11, and now 12, is that if you right click, you have this mid and side mode. If I lower this all the way to the left, it says 100M. That is the same thing as having it on the width and lowering it all the way to 0, because you're just going to play the mid content or like the mono content. However, if I go back to mid side mode, raise this up all the way to the side, it is going to eliminate the mid content information. So all you're going to be hearing is just the side. And that is all the stuff that is only present in a stereo signal. If I go ahead and just duplicate this utility plugin, throw it into mono, nothing is going to exist, because that content you're hearing is only the stuff that is different between the left and right channel, and that is going to be all that side content. Very small difference when you put it in this mid side mode, but it is a difference that is going to help us out as I show you how to do this process. What I am going to do is right click, group it, and click on this little chain, show the chain list, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this as the mid, and then I will lower this all the way to only have the mid content. And now I'm going to duplicate this. So I just did Command D. I'm going to Command R, side, and raise this one up all the way to the right. Now we have the side. Now together you have the mid and side. If I turn this on and off, you don't hear any difference because I'm just separating out the mid and side. But now if I turn this off, you only hear the mid, and if I turn this on, you only hear the side. Now I can essentially do the same thing as I was doing with that width knob. Like I can take down the sides now. Or I can go in here and increase the side. Let's go ahead and just decrease the level of this track so it's not super loud. I can raise up the side. I'm going to do it in the utility plugin here. You are increasing the level, but you're increasing the level of the side information, so you're getting a heightened stereo field. Now that is the same thing as just using that width knob and increasing it up beyond 100%. But now I can manipulate these even further than just increasing the level of the mid and side, which is all that you can really do in those like imaging plugins. What I can do now is I could go to an EQ, like the EQ8, and put that on the EQ8. The EQ8 has mid side mode, but we don't need that because I already broke this out into mid and side, and you can kind of EQ the mid and side. I could throw this on like, oh, the mid, and then EQ the mid, but we're not going to do that because I already broke out the mid and side, so we're just going to leave this on this stereo mode. And then I'm going to put this on the side, and now I can EQ just the side. Filter it off like that. And not only can I just like EQ this, raise up the level, I can also throw on some saturation. Maybe I want to add on a saturator, maybe increase this drive, add excitement to the sides. Increase the gain a bit. And this is not only something you can do to make your track wider, you can just make your track more mono, or like the signal mono. You could do this type of stuff very minimally on like your master, or even like a bus group of instruments. This whole technique of splitting up the mid and side gives you so much more control to be able to manipulate both of these signals than just using the utility plugin on the width mode, or using one of those imaging plugins you can get from like Isotope or Waves. And maybe like the mid, I could throw on saturation on the mid. I could EQ it. Maybe I want to EQ it after the saturation. And for some reason, when it is on stereo mode, it doesn't show you in the spectrum analyzer what is happening, but I mean, you can hear what it is doing. This is just in the side panel, but yeah, if you do like mid side, you can, and you put it on the side, you can see the sides. But now if I do mid, it wouldn't do anything. So that's why I just have it on the stereo mode. You could, if you want to, you could have it on the stereo mode, but if you did want to see what it is doing, you could go to the mid and side and then just make sure it's on the side. That is just like too confusing, so I don't know if I'd worry about that. And I'm just going to put a booster on. Let's say I put a booster on 1K, and then the mid, I take it out around 1K. And this way, I'm just playing with the signal, like with this pad by itself. You're gonna just hear it. It's just gonna sound a bit different. But like when you have it in a track, you might be able to give the feeling that it is wider, because width is all about perception in your track. If everything is wide, then nothing is wide. If you have everything in your track that is like wide sounding, then nothing is gonna sound wide. But if you have things that are mono sounding, and then you have these pads that kind of have the width from like all the side information kind of like enveloping them, then you can create this sense of width. So yeah, you just have to kind of like play around with this stuff if you are manipulating the mid in the side. EQing, you can saturate it. I don't know, any other effect you can try depending on what you're trying to go for. I don't know if I'd get too crazy. Let's see, what else could I do? I don't know, I could even throw on like an erosion plugin. Ultimately, what I would maybe do for this pad, like let's say it were in a track, I'd maybe just throw on some saturation and maybe a bit of EQ. That's all that you would need. But doing this in this way just gives you like so much more control. Let's check out like maybe another pad. How about this one? Let's see what we got in here. And what you can do with this effect rack is I'm going to take off everything, all the changes I made. Once you split this up into the mid and side, then you can save this audio effect rack, and then you can always just like go back to it and put it on any of your tracks. Let me just go ahead and duplicate this on this other track for now. And like, let's say I just want this one to be a bit more mono sounding, so I'm going to take down the sides. And maybe I'll do like a bit of overdrive in the mid. Like maybe I'm just trying to dirty that up. I'm going to throw on like some hip hop drums on that. Anyway, I just thought this was a cool thing that you can do with this utility plugin, was splitting this to mid and side and then putting it into an audio effect rack and then splitting up the channels into mid channel or the side channel. And then you can have a lot more control over manipulating the width of your audio signal. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a like, and also please subscribe to my channel if you are not yet subscribed. And if you'd like to check out any of my serum preset packs, head on over to store.samsmyers.com.